Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Whitty, New Mexico Secretary of Agriculture, and we're here today to tell you about an exciting program that we have at the New Mexico Department of Agriculture, our Specialty Crop Block Grant Program. This is a program that's really, it provides a great opportunity for those who are growing and marketing and want to expand our specialty crop industry in the state of New Mexico. And specialty crops are really vital to the state. Some of our most famous crops are specialty crops, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. I'm here today with two of our marketing specialists, Felicia Frost and Zach Barella, and they're going to share some great information that'll be beneficial for you today about our program. So Felicia, why don't you tell us a little bit about specialty crops?
Sure, Jeff. As you mentioned, most of the crops we grow in New Mexico are specialty crops. So there are many folks across the state that could potentially benefit from this program. But I'll share with you the definition that USDA uses for specialty crops. And that is fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, dried fruits, horticulture, and nursery crops, including floriculture.
All right, thanks. And I want to remind everybody that at the end of this video, we're going to have all the information on a slide so that you'll have all the reference material, the website to get more information, and other good information that we cite today. So look for that at the end of the video. Zach, who is eligible for this program?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'm happy to explain. So USDA offers federal funding to state departments of agriculture to help support the specialty crop industry. In New Mexico, individuals or non-federal entities who are interested in applying for the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program must submit their project proposal for federal funding to the New Mexico Department of Agriculture.
All right, thank you, Zach. USDA specifies that these projects must focus on marketing, training, certification, food safety, pest control, and plant health related to specialty crops.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jeff. We've had so many amazing projects over the years, but I was wondering, would you mind just maybe mentioning a few of those that stand out in your mind? I think that would be really helpful for our viewers today.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've had some great projects over the years, many great projects. A couple that really come to mind are one with the New Mexico Farmers Market Association, where they're actually connecting retailers with producers and consumers and expanding our specialty crop reach, you know, at the retail settings. Another project is a project with the school systems, the kids cooking in the schools. And that really, you think about kids and what their influence on their parents. My kids helped raise me all along. And when the kids get involved in cooking and dealing with fresh fruits and vegetables, and they take that home, that really helps to expand that market. That's been another great project. One that we've been involved in for years that's been really beneficial for the state of New Mexico is the chili promotion. You think about New Mexico, you think about New Mexico green chili and the fresh green chili. And now through this project, we've actually expanded that market all across the United States. I get calls, text, pictures from friends and acquaintances all over the United States showing me pictures of our New Mexico green chili in their local grocery store, be it Washington, D.C., Seattle, Washington, even up into Canada. We've had pictures come in from these areas. So you know that the program is beneficial when it's reaching those areas. You think about New Mexico, we're #1 in pecans, #1 in green chili production. We're always at the top of the list in summer onion production. And we can't rest on our laurels. And through this block grant, we've also invested in research, pecan research. If you think about New Mexico, we are now the #1 producing pecan state in the nation. And our producers aren't going to rest on those laurels. They're looking for other ways that they can grow and expand that market. And they've done that through the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program. So Zach, can you talk about once you get an award, what it takes to respond and the measurable outcomes that are required for this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the USDA Agricultural Marketing Service, or AMS, has a performance evaluation plan which includes 8 measurable outcomes and corresponding indicators. These measurable outcomes are important because AMS is required to report on the results of the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program at a national level just to demonstrate the effectiveness and impact of the program. Each project proposal must include at least one of the 8 outcomes and at least one corresponding indicator. And some of these measurable outcomes include enhancing specialty crops through sales, increasing the consumption of specialty crops, increasing the access and awareness of specialty crops. And another outcome focuses on increasing the number of technologies to improve food safety. The full evaluation plan with all 8 outcomes and corresponding indicators will be available on our elevatenmag.com website.
All right, that's great information. You know, that's the reason we've had great projects in the past is because of the targeted outcomes and the focus associated with these grants. And I look for more great things to come with this next year's opportunities. You know, this year we've set several priorities. COVID really had an impact on our ag industry, and it also created some great opportunities. But we're going to look for projects this year that focus on projects that help rebuild the ag industry after COVID. Projects that will help expand our markets. Anything that connects consumers to the producers. We feel that that's really been a highlight of what made some of our folks, especially in the specialty crop area, successful and kept them in business this year was the ability to connect with the consumer. Projects that promote local buying and expanded local and connecting with the local areas. Research projects that include young farmers and ranchers and women in agriculture. Sharing concepts and models that work. I think it's really important. Now I said ranchers. Now keep in mind these are for specialty crops, but sometimes our ranchers are also diversified in what they're producing. So as long as it's a specialty crop project, you know you can qualify for these things. So there's a lot of great opportunities and for a lot of great projects that we look forward to. Felicia, why don't you tell everybody about the funding that's available?
Sure, Jeff. We're not entirely sure how much we will be allocated this year, but every year the allocation is based on a formula, and that formula comes from the Farm Bill. So it is a competitive grant process. But I was wondering, Zach, would you mind going into a little bit more detail about that competitive process?
Yeah, definitely, Felicia. So the application process is competitive because each submitted proposal to NMDA is reviewed and scored by an evaluation committee. So typically, we as a department try to include a variety of specialty crop experts. These may include specialty crop producers, researchers, and industry members. And normally we like to have 3 to 5 specialty crop experts on this evaluation committee. And just to avoid any conflict of interest, every committee member discloses any connections related to the individuals submitting their proposal during this grant cycle.
All right, thanks, Zach. You know, I want to assure everybody that while the grant process may seem intimidating, I want to make sure that it's not. Our team works really hard to make sure that it's not. But you may see some correspondence from not only the Department of Agriculture. USDA allocates these funds to the Department of Agriculture. And as you know, as a constitutional agency under the New Mexico State University Board of Regents, we use the NMSU system for all of our procurement processes. So you may get some emails, you may get correspondence also from New Mexico State University. We're all part of the same group and the same family. So I just want to assure you that when you get those, it's a seamless process, that we're always in constant contact with the procurement office, and we work through this so that you get your information seamlessly. So Zach, let's get to the bottom line. Rubber meets the road. At this point, everybody, I'm sure, is wanting to know what they need to consider when they're applying.
Yeah, of course. So before applying, people should consider their eligibility to receive federal funds. That grant funds for this program are dispersed on a reimbursement basis only. The types of expenses or cost categories that they may need help with. Having an appropriate infrastructure or internal policy to properly manage the awarded funds. If there are any project partners, the applicant should have them committed before submitting their proposal. An applicant should also consider who their project beneficiaries are. And finally, the time frame of this grant period.
Perfect. You know, the beneficiary thing is really important because projects can't just benefit a single entity. It's got to benefit a group, right? So it's something we all have to keep in mind. And that's what makes these projects really, really good for the state of New Mexico. Felicia, who should people contact for more information?
Yes, people can contact both Zach and I. And the best way would be to send an email to specialtycrops@nmda.nmsu.edu. But as you mentioned, that contact information will be posted at the end of this on the screen. And we have a ton of specialty crop information on our new website, which is elevatenmag.com.
So there you have it, folks. You've had a little bit of discussion about what Specialty Crop Block Grant Program is all about. I hope you'll take the opportunity to really consider sending us a really top-notch application. That's how we're going to grow New Mexico. That's how we're going to keep growing New Mexico agriculture. Felicia and Zach, I want to thank you for providing all the good information and all the work you always are doing on the Specialty Crop Block Grant and the other things that you do at the Department of Agriculture for our farmers, ranchers, consumers, processors, everybody in the state of New Mexico. You touch everybody. And I want to thank all the New Mexicans for joining us on this video. And please feel free to contact us at the information on the next window to get more information. And if you have any questions, just fire them at us and we'll get you the information. Thank you, everybody.